My content is intended for adult collectors of the product, not made for kids. Hello everyone! For this video, we will be reviewing the new Balkesh B7. Before we continue with this video, make sure you are a subscriber of the channel with bell notifications on. Let me know your thoughts after you watch this review. And a huge thank you to our friend from Australia who was able to help us out. They know who they are and we really do appreciate the help so we can actually get these reviews done. So Balkesh. Let's take a look at it now. The previous Balkesh, Dusk, had Hasbro's changes done to it. Obviously, the gimmick was originally it could be made into a circle, and obviously now with the modern renditions not there, we're gonna go over it and really see all the changes, if they did for good, for bad, for better, for worse. The back of the box. Okay, and then after now the unboxing part in the video. Driver, whoa, look at that. Giga. Oh yeah, and then after the layer. Okay. Oh wow, the ball is not semi-flat, look at that. That's surprising. Let's take a look at it. We're gonna go part by part. Oh yeah, and actually before we do that, I just wanna show that for this thing, if you want to, I don't really think it matters, but you can get the little thing on there if you want. So, yeah. So now we're going to be going over part by part, and we're going to start off with our core, which is Balkesh. Now, if we put this side by side to Bahamut, a thing that Hasbro likes to do is they kind of just do... They don't really paint the base, they'll just leave it with that transparency and whatever, so... Instead of painting the black there, they kind of just left it on that sort of dark purple, I guess. Anyways, I think aside from the top half, it looks fine. Also, to make the joke now, they did include the gimmick of the slopes, right? They didn't give us teeth. I have tested the slopes, and it's kind of hard to get a feel for this, but yeah, there's also no rubber stopper. Quickly to explain. It had technically 3 rubber stoppers, the middle and the sides. It was for great burst resistance, and that's why Bahamut was really good. For Hasbro, it is not included. And I have tried to feel it, and I do think it is better than Fafnir, but I don't think either of them are that good in general. Just by QD standards, it's good, but in general, not so much, if that makes a lot of sense. So if you're a Balkesh fan, I would just say it's like maybe better than Fafnir. I wouldn't be surprised if some get copies and it's a little weaker than Fafnir, but for me, I think that's where it's at. Now we get to our next part, which is the Roar Blade. So with Roar, and like the past iterations with Arc, where they originally had this and now it's been stripped away, is that with Arc, once it moved, the middle would appear. Now since Dusk and since Rise and onwards, or even technically Turbo, they've been slowly taking away those types of gimmicks. So this time around, similar to Dusk, it is permafused to where it's already in the circle shape when the disc would hit it and it would be pushed outwards. As far as visually how this goes, I think visually they could have, gone a little bit further, because there are the sections here that I think could have done it, because they just painted it like with that dark purple. Like I was not expecting like the tattooed stuff. That was long gone Switch Strike when they used to do it, but at least like, the sections they would have typically done, they could have. Now for how it looks on a side profile, as Thanos got the Infinity Gauntlet, half of whatever it was supposed to be is gone and hollowed out. However, either way, in terms of QD standards, I guess compared to something like Vanish or Wrath, it'll still be better than it because of its shape. So for QD fans, you at least have that to look forward to. We then after get our, which one is it? Our Giga Disc. So with the Giga Disc, if you do a side by side to the actual Giga, obviously half of it is gone. For QD standards and for general Hasbro standards, it's comparable to Hasbro's wheel, Not really that much better, not really that much worse, just on par with it. Next up, we get the performance tip, which by golly gosh, you know, if I'm gonna rip into something, it's the one thing that kind of annoys me. Even Hasbro fans kind of agree, like, bruh, come on. Okay, they pick the base performance tip as Edge. Now let me remind you, Edge is, at least I think, one of the worst, if not the worst, stamina performance tip they ever released. So the fact that we have it is a no-no. Now, if there is anything at all to go by, it's that if they had to pick a performance tip, they could have just picked Survive. I would have been okay with Survive, even if it was, like, again, an Outclass Season 1 performance tip, but it would have been something else. The reason why I say this is because I just don't like the driver. Now, obviously I have Cyclone right here. Now, why do I have it? The point to bring up is that it has a good spring on Edge QD. So this is the second QD driver that has been released. That's been pretty tight. Actually, I don't know. Let me try shot. Hold on. I would argue even maybe tighter than Assault. Let me see this one. At the very least, yeah, shot and moment, or I guess that would be technically shot and Edge. You know what I mean. So far, these two new bases in Wave 2 of tight springs for it, so that's at least something good, or at least above average that QD gives us. Now, with that being said, there is the attachment, which makes Moment. Now, Moment is a driver where it was like Guard, but I would say better executed. It was free spin on the axis, and it would adjust, and it would balance itself. It was pretty good, I would say, even if it was slightly niche. Hasbro, obviously, there is no free spin. The ball is not semi-flat. I don't know who made that up. The ball is not semi-flat. The ball is normal. I think either way, though, most likely what will happen is it will destabilize near the end and whatever, but, you know, at the very least, Roar by QuadDrive standards has something going for it, and obviously the armor, which is not good because they don't matter. None of the armors matter. None of the armors matter. I definitely think if they want to keep on this sort of level, that's going to be good. 7.81. 4.86 by Hasbro standards. If they want to keep by this level and go beyond that, that's good. Then after the Roar Blade, 6.76. When you combine that with, so if you do this, you get to about 19.85, which is not even counting with the armor, because if you get that with the armor, which the armor is 1.64, which is 13.32, this weighs a total of about 13.26 versus 33.18. Now here's something that's a little bit neat. Now the disc I have here is about 32.69 or 68, nice. One that's on Roar Balkesh is 25.34. It is actually way heavier than the average Hasbro Giga, and that's by quite a bit. So this is the new one. Now I don't know, someone in the comments, can you see? Is there any mold difference between the two of these that you can actually see? We do have Edge, which is about 5.25, and then after Moments attachment, 2.32, with altogether now 7.57 versus 7.22 to Roar Bahamut, which is about 73 almost 10 versus 46.18. Side by side. Like I've said before, I do wish they included more detail visually. I do think they're very dead to look at. Even if you are a Hasbro fan, you have to admit that they could do a little better of a job. That being said, though, for how the slopes feel, I think because the driver is tight, I do need to put this on actually something that is the same. Everyone's favorite left, Vanish. Let me get kind of a similar thing going. I would say on kind of the more normal stuff, maybe the Fafnir core is better, or at the very least it is on par with the Fafnir core. On some of the tighter stuff, I do like it more on Balkesh than I do Fafnir, but I would not say that one is better than the other. I think they're just really on par with each other. Now that being said, side by side. Definitely do think that Arc is probably going to still be the best Balkesh released for Hasbro. I don't think they're ever going to top it. Okay, so let's do a test launch. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Again, 3, 2, 1, let it rip. So it seems like Moment is going to kind of be like, in a sense, Rise. When sometimes if you hard launch it, it's going to go too fast and it's going to speed up. But if you get it stable like this, it seems like it should be fine. But it is kind of funny that it's not too stable if you hard launch it sometimes, because that's going to be very risky then. Same spin. If you ever use this thing outside of a QD, because it'll just self-KO. But if you somehow get it perfectly stable, if you magically launch it like that, you'll see. Now, I'm curious if it's going to stay up or if it's going to fall down. I think it should stay up probably sometimes, but it should tip over. But either way, I think for equalization, probably not too crazy. Just when you consider, right? So I'm trying to wait till the end just to see this. Okay. Let's do our first opponent, which will be Destruction Bellfire. We gotta see how it does. We gotta see. Okay, that was Roar. That was nice. Now let's try Roar against something tough. We gotta try it against Cyclone. Now, so far, it's lasting. Yeah, it's kind of doing that weird thing. Does this outspin Cyclone? That would be nice if it could. Just to see. Yeah, the aggressive movement actually helped there, so let's get this on the edge. 3, 2, 1, the rip. So now with edge, I mean, hey, we're already there, so Cyclone. And I guess we'll also try Belial. Or Bellfire, I mean. Look at that. Wow. It's almost like the stamina is not there because of edge. I would have just taken another yielding, I'll be honest. They could have just given us another yielding. That would have been fine. Yeah, just really takes you out of the vibe when they gotta throw in that. So before, I could beat around Destruction, but how does it do now? Let's find out. Because, I mean, sometimes with the resistance, it could be pretty crazy, so, yeah. I thought of the, it's got good burst resistance, that's nice, but the stamina obviously is not there. And of curiosity's sake, I wonder what happens if I get you. Wow, can it not, wow, it doesn't burst it. Well, probably just because of the height, but that's still kind of cool. Look at that, watch. Watch this. Look at all the direct hits. It'll lose via stamina, but it can't burst it. That's interesting. So I'm actually wondering now if this is just a height thing or if the resistance is just enough to where it can last. So let's try it again where it's at normal height. And let's just see. That's kind of cool if it doesn't. Yeah, it didn't slide at all. That's really weird. I thought Guilty would do it. I kind of threw in guilty there just as random. That's, I mean, hey man. I guess it's just got some really weird resistance. Let me try out a normal performance tip though, like this yielding. Let me just see if it's, is it really just because of the tight spring driver? Yeah, okay. So let's, okay. I guess that was like round one. Let's see how it does again. Come on. Yeah, high mode probably not so much. So at the very least, we get like this really like cool movement with it. So even if moment is not that good, probably like for general usage, I would say it's gonna probably topple over and not be that consistent in equalization. For a QuadDrive driver, you know, and QuadDrive only in this stadium, okay. This is roar versus roar. I didn't lose any, so this thing probably can't, this thing is tough to burst, huh? This thing is tough to burst with edge Q. Normally, you know, on normal stuff, this thing is very easy. Again, I gotta stress, it's only because of the performance tip, because otherwise, normally this thing would lose very easily. So yeah, with edge, I mean, either way this thing lost, but it's up against like Nightmare Extreme. Just so you can get an idea, right? How different the bays are now. Right? So this is why I'll always say in the videos within QD or whatever, because in the general meta of Hasbro, these things would not hold up. Nightmare would just eat this thing up and probably Drain will beat it. As an actual release for QuadDrive, by QuadDrive only, it is good. In general, you know, if you're looking in general, probably not so much, but before we end off, I just want to mention that we have a giveaway where we are giving away 10 Ultimate Valkyries. It expires March 13th, 2022. Don't miss out on it. It's a great opportunity. You just have to enter by being a subscriber of the channel. Some other stuff, but check out the original video where we went over it. That being said, we also have a store where we're selling Takara Tomy releases. Great deals and everything. Check out our store. Please show it some support. We have Sparking, Dynamite Battle, other stuff, deals and bundles. Check it out, and that'll be it for now. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.